It has become pretty much an annual rite of Cubs spring training. For the 15th time in the last 16 years, they are a part of Las Vegas Big League Weekend and a new ballpark, Las Vegas Ballpark, and a lot of Cub fans tailgating before this one today. The local hero Chris Bryant is back home, and the Cubs welcome in the Cincinnati Reds for the first of a two-game series here in the Cactus League. And welcome to the booth here on Marquee Sports Network. Cole Wright in for Jim DeShays, who's a little under the weather. I'm Len Casper, and where would you rather be in March? Las Vegas.
Absolutely, as good as it gets. And as we talked about before we got on the air, a beautiful day for a ball game. The wind's blowing out here, so something tells me the guys that have big swings are going to look to put one farther than they built the fence.
Yeah, it has been a very offensive ballpark and really an offensive league. Remember AAA last year using the big league ball, and we saw batting practice, balls flying out of here. But Alec Mills' job is to keep the ball in the ballpark.
Yeah, and he's been very efficient so far with his numbers. Taking a look at what he's done so far this spring, he's only been out there in 3 games and 6 innings, but the earned runs, yeah, a goose egg. Also, to go along with the amount of hits he's given up and the strikeouts, the numbers have been there, and he's a big man. And of course, he's looking for similar results today.
Right-hander TJ Antone will go for the split squad Reds, and Chris Bryant always participates in this big weekend. Taylor McGregor will have more on KB as he returns home. He's mic'd up for us today as well. Stay tuned. See, partner of the exclusive home of Cubs checking, and by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
Viva Las Vegas! The Cubs and Reds get to play here for Big League Weekend, something that Chris Bryant used to watch as a fan from the seats growing up here. And it's really special for him to be here and be a role model for the next generation of baseball players here in Las Vegas, because as a kid, he used to sit in those seats and admire the big leaguers on the field. He reminisced today about what it was like growing up here and coming to this game.
Of course, it's playing here, it's just, this is home to me and it always will be. I met my wife here, I went to school here, a lot of just really cool things have happened to me here. And, I just think about like when I was in high school, I used to come to these games and watch the Cubs, and I think the White Sox were playing, and then, there's a bunch of just different teams but it's always the Cubs. And it's kind of cool that I get the chance to play in it now, and always one of my favorite weekends out of the year, and it happens to be in spring training.
And he also talked about the type of legacy that he wants to leave to this next generation of ball players. And it's someone who works really hard, runs fast to the bases, and does all the little things the right way. It's certainly the type of player he is in Chicago and has inspired so many here in the Vegas area. Len and Cole.
Thanks very much, Taylor. And there are a ton of Cub fans here. The sun is shining. It's windy, as we mentioned in the open. The ball really jumps here in this pretty brand new ballpark, which opened last year. It's the AAA home of the Las Vegas Aviators, the affiliate of the Oakland A's. And yeah, we had a lot of wind over at Cashman Field, but it might be a big factor this weekend.
Yeah, 14 miles an hour. Something tells me that they may want to do a recalibration on that wind speed right about now, because as we walked into the ballpark earlier today, I felt like it was at least 30 degrees at the least.
So split squad weekend. The Cubs' other team behind Kyle Hendricks facing the Cleveland Indians in Goodyear, Arizona. We'll keep you posted on what develops in that one. And here's what we have coming up on the broadcast. Chris Bryant is mic'd up. Ian Happ will chat with Taylor. Chris Young. And also we'll hear from Steve Hill from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. We always appreciate their great hospitality when we come to Las Vegas. We missed being here last year. Now the Reds lineup brought to you by First Midwest Bank, helping you build business momentum. David Bell is not here. Frenny Benavides, the bench coach, is managing this Reds club. Winker, Moustakas, and Irvin at the top. Aristides Aquino had that Fantastic finish last year with a ton of home runs at the big league level. Josh Van Meter will play first base. Kyle Farmer is at short. Christian Colon, the DH, hitting 7th. Alex Blandino at 3rd, and the catcher Tyler Stevenson 9th. And the Cubs starting pitcher brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you, and that is right-hander Alec Mills, who is still in the mix for a possible spot in the rotation, but at the very least, Cole seems to be in pretty good shape to be on this pitching staff in one way or another.
Yeah, all this is spring training is a dress rehearsal. When you put up the numbers, everything else that comes along with it seems to be a little extra gravy. And Alec goes out there, he's put up solid numbers, as we said, has yet to give up a hit, only walked 3, and he's just been extremely, when you look at what he's bringing to the table right now, I think it's just efficient. Like we talked about his efficiency earlier, and I think that efficiency should carry into the regular season.
So he'll face Winker, Moustakas, and Irvin to start it. Nick Lentz is the home plate umpire. Big crowd on hand. We expect a lot of fans to come through the turnstiles this weekend, and we are underway. And the first pitch strike on Winker. Mills tends to work pretty quickly from the wind, and a ground ball to the second baseman. It's Jason Kipnis. They've been a little under the weather earlier this week, but good to go today. And one quick out. Now the Cubs defensively brought to you by your local Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Miller, Happ, and Cuevas in the outfield, left, center, right. Bryant, Horner, Kipnis, Rizzo, third to first. Fegley, the catcher, Mills, the pitcher. And now one of the Reds' big offseason acquisitions, Mike Moustakas. And a fly ball down the left field line, and a great effort by Miller, and he couldn't get it. Let's hope Ian is all right. That's scary. Tell him it's spring training.
Full bore. That's exactly what you want to see.
With that short wall, and just couldn't get the ball. And fortunately, is all right. The sun and the wind and tricks with everything in the air today. There's the 0-1 serve, and it is in there for a strike.
Something tells me, Len, that won't be the last ball we see wind blown over towards that short fence over there.
Mills home. Shallow center. Happ will not get there in time. So Moustakas with a bloop hit, and he's aboard for Phillip Ervin. Not always the case, but at times when we come to Vegas, some of the veteran hitters, they like to swing early, especially for day games, if you know what I mean. There's a lot to do here. And tonight's their only night to do it. Irvin playing right. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike.
So I think it's safe to say you think these guys are trying to put the wraps on these ball games here when they come to Vegas.
Short lead by Moustakas. Mills paints the outside corner on a fastball. Great to have you here, Cole. I know last minute, but
glad to be with you.
Look forward to hanging this weekend and getting ready for the regular season. Just over a couple of weeks away. Opening day in Milwaukee. Didn't miss by much, 1-2. And we should tell those Cubs fans out there who are unfamiliar with your voice, you're a Chicago guy.
That's correct.
So welcome home.
I'm glad to be home.
Bill Miller rings him up at first. That's out number 2. They're all swings this weekend for the reasons we mentioned earlier. Here's Aristides Aquino. Kind of took the league by storm when he came up last year. So a bunch of modern records, including fewest career games to 14 home runs. That's 28 games. He combined AAA and the majors to hit 47.
Some serious pop. Has that old school Tony Batista open stance going on.
Yeah, good comp. He's down 0-2. Question for the Reds. They've got a lot of outfielders. Will Aquino be on that opening day roster? Nick Senzel coming back from injury. They've got Nicholas Castellanos, the former Cub, signed him as a free agent. Winker, Shogo Akiyama. Fouls straight back. Still 0-2 on Aquino.
And it's so rare we see a guy with an open stance like that. When was the last time in the last 20 years or so outside of Tony Batista that you've seen a player that has their belt buckle pretty much pointed directly at the pitcher?
Very few.
Absolutely.
Very few guys. But it works for him. Yeah. And guys like Aquino and Bautista, they appear to be vulnerable to that outside corner, but in Bautista's case, he was a diver. He wanted you to work the outside. 1-2. David Ross is here, by the way. He made the trip. And played AAA ball here in Las Vegas way back when. By much again. He's been right around the plate here in the first.
Not a bad place to be.
Alec is 28. Tennessee native. 6'4", 190. Ray will pitch for the Cubs here tomorrow. Mentioned Hendricks working in Arizona. Jose Quintana on Sunday will face the Diamondbacks. (3-2) runner goes, swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts for Mills in the first as he works around that 1-out single. Las Vegas native Chris Bryant, his good friend Anthony Rizzo, and Josh Phegley.
Half of the first at Las Vegas Ballpark. Cole Wright alongside Len Casper. And let's take a look at this Cubs lineup brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield through it all. Chris Bryant, he'll be leading off, the hometown guy, followed up by Anthony Rizzo, Josh Phegley behind the plate, and Ian Happ, he'll be in the big field. Nico Horner will try his hand at shortstop along with Jason Kipnis. He's a Chicago guy back in the Cubs blue. And Noel Cuevas in right along with P.J. Higgins. He'll be holding down the DH responsibilities along with Ian Miller in left field, batting a robust 385 this spring.
T.J. Antone's last outing was against the Cubs in a good year, and his first pitch misses the zone on Chris Bryant. Bonanza High School graduate Chris Bryant. More on that later. Rolled foul past third.
Not a whole bunch has changed since those high school days either. Pretty much looks the same, has a stronger beard, but the numbers very reflective.
Bank account a little heftier too.
Just a little.
1-1 on KB. Family and friends here as always. Never gets old when you come back home. The 6'4" righty Antone in the dirt. And it's 3-1. Rizzo on deck. The glove of Blandino. Bryant on his way to second. Throw there. Not in time. It's a double. Good start. Oh, was absolutely scalded by Bryant. Good effort by Blandino.
No, we know that Chris Bryant is an expectant father, but Len, do we know if he's going to be going with the baby blue on the glove and the batting gloves all season long, or is it just for spring training?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Here's Rizzo. First pitch swing and a tapper foul. We've seen Bryant 1, Rizzo 2. That's how the Cubs will go here in 2020. Reds have the pull shift on against Anthony, who was slowed earlier this week by a finger blister on his right hand. And he lines to Irvin for the out, and Bryant will have to hold at second. Another ball hit really hard. Red starting pitcher brought to you by Budweiser. There's Buds for you. See the numbers for TJ Antone. This will be his second start and 5th appearance this spring. He's been in their system for 5 seasons and split last year between AA and AAA. Josh Fegley, the catcher, takes inside, ball 1. So one thing about spring training I really enjoy, Cole, is not necessarily the big league guys, the guys we know will be on not only the Cubs big league roster but around the division and the league, but to see some prospects and players you might see a year or two down the road at this level.
Sure, not just the guys that are playing for a spot on the roster, but they're playing for pride. They're going out here and they know that every single thing that they do is under a microscope, whether it's fielding ground balls in pregame or whether it's the way they take balls off of a tee in the batting cage. Everything is magnified, especially when you have a number on your back where it's a 96 or a 98. Those larger numbers mean your chance of making the ball club are a little bit smaller.
That is taken for a strike, 2-1. And Josh Fegley, non-roster invite. Josh from Terre Haute, Indiana, as he pops it up. Shallow right. This could be trouble, and it drops. Good read by Bryant, as he did get around third, but will hold there. So a bloop hit for Fegley. And we'll set it up for Ian Happ. Gonna run everything out in the air today. For the reasons we discussed earlier. The first reaction for a lot of guys is disgust when you hit a ball like that, but it's the kind of ball you want to hit today. Fouls off third, and it's caught, and Bryant cannot try to score, so Blandino makes the grab, 2 down. That'll leave it up to Nico Horner.
Now, Len, as you know, if you're Fegley, you can't be too mad with that because on our score sheet, it looks like a line drive, doesn't it?
Sure.
They all look great.
Hit's a hit. Like Alex Blandino, Nico Horner, a Stanford product. Called strike. He's playing shortstop with Kipnis at second. And Horner getting a lot of reps at second base this spring. He could not hold. Double and a single here in the first. Called strike 3, and Tone gets out of it. After an inning from Las Vegas, Reds and Cubs are scoreless.
Back here in Cubs fans, epic stories. They will be coming alive all season long on the field as well as in the stands. And you can be there to experience it all. Get out to Wrigley Field where stories play. Tickets, they're still available for that March 30th home opener versus those Pittsburgh Pirates. All you have to do is go online and visit Cubs.com and do it today.
Inning number 2. Alec Mills with 2 strikeouts in the first. Cubs winless over their last 5, including a tie against these Reds on Wednesday. And that's a swing and a foul by Josh Van Meter to start the Reds' second. Farmer and Colon to follow. Mills winds and fires. 1-1. Swing and a miss.
I know it is just a preseason, but it seems as if all the feel and the touch, it's all there for Millsy, because everything that, when it comes to the numbers, you see he hasn't given a free pass off so far this spring, and that's exactly what you want to see, especially if you're David Ross, eyeing that 5th starter position.
Boy, another good pitch. Swing and a miss. You're right. Got that curve working. And he's got his 3rd strikeout. Now Farmer, the shortstop, getting reps at that position this spring, just so the Reds are covered there. Freddie Galvis brought in to be their main guy. He's dealing with a quad issue. A slow one for a strike.
It's almost strange to see Kyle Farmer make that transition. My time that I spent around Kyle Farmer was in the Dodgers organization, and he was a catcher for the last 2 years when I was on the West Coast.
A pretty good athlete.
Yeah.
They're giving him a chance to possibly get some time at short. Bounce to Bryant at 3rd as he looks it in. Two down. Here's Christian Colon, the DH. So Las Vegas ballpark, we mentioned home of the AAA Aviators. They will host the AAA National Championship game on September 22nd this season. High fly ball. Ian Happ grabs it, and a quick 1-2-3 for Mills. Midway in the second, 0-0 from Vegas. Scoreless tie. Cubs bat in the home second. Kipnis, Cuevas, and Higgins. Oh, line shot right to the second baseman. Oh, that's the shortstop. That's Farmer over there in the shift. I knew it didn't look like Moustakis. Let's get the Reds defense brought to you by Miller Lite. Winker left, Aquino center, Irvin right, Blandino, Farmer, Moustakis, Van Meter around the infield. Tyler Stevenson catching, and Tone on the mound.
I have to get a fact check during commercial break, but I feel as if Mike Moustakas has played every single position on the field in his Major League career.
Here's Noel Cuevas. Swing and a miss. We have Chris Young, the Cubs' new bullpen coach, on the headset with us. How are you, Chris?
I'm great, guys. How you doing today?
Doing great. So you're back in the dugout where you were last year. How are things going so far this spring?
It's been incredible. It's been a ton of fun. It's a great group of guys to be around. The staff's great. Players are great. It's had a lot of fun.
Davis taps out. I'll tell you, you know this, Chris, because you've been here all spring. We're getting early swings in the count here in Las Vegas on both sides.
Yeah, we were kind of talking before the game, wondering what type of strategy we would see today, and we kind of thought early swings might be the case.
Absolutely. So, what do you look for in your guys? At this point, we still have a couple weeks to go. You know, just trying to get all their pitches in and get feel and all that stuff. But they want results, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think from our standpoint, you know, these new guys, for me, they're all new. So it's really just spending a lot of time getting to know them as people, getting to know what they do well, kind of seeing where you can, you know, drop a nugget or two to kind of help them out a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely a balance. I thought Dan Winkler threw the ball outstanding yesterday, and then you look at the line score, and it's kind of like, wait a minute here. But you know, I think that's just kind of spring training.
Chris Cole right here with Len Casper. Now we know the results, they're important, but how much more important is that the guys that have the spin, the field, the touchdown pat before the real thing gets underway?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, it's one of those things where these guys, we know who they are, they know who they are, and so it's really just trying to hit those check marks along the way and making sure they feel great about things. So when they flip the lights on for real, they can just jump on and go.
2 outs, nobody on second inning, and outside on Higgins. And working with Tommy Hotovy and Mike Borzello and the guys, as you said, just kind of getting to know not only the players but the way things work here.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the infrastructure they have on the pitching side here has just been a ton of fun to be around. With Borzi's outstanding and had a lot of respect on the other side of the field for the way they do things. And so getting to be a part of it, see firsthand, spend some time around these guys has just been incredible.
All right, so your career, tell us about your pitching career. I know you ended up pitching independent ball, but do you feel like you got everything out of your career? And what I like to ask guys like you and then Tommy Hotovy is, with all the analytics and all the stuff you have now, if you could go back 12 to 15 years, would you have pitched longer, and what would you have done differently, if anything?
Well, I would have tried to avoid Albuquerque. That's what I really would have tried to do.
Yeah, avoid the PCL.
Yeah, avoiding the PCL might have been the first start, knowing what I know now. No, I mean, I really did. I feel like I maxed it out. I could throw a sinker where I wanted to, and it kind of ended after that. So got a lot of chances because managers like guys that throw strikes and get the ball on the ground, but I had a hard time making them swing and miss. And
sure.
We see the game today. You know, the swing and miss is just so prevalent.
All right, so okay, let me ask it another way. What is the piece of information that you do wish you had that you didn't?
Yeah, I think it would have been just a little bit of the help with the breaking ball. Find out if there was a way where I could change a grip, change the spin on it, change the shape on it, to where I could come up with something that give me a chance to miss a few more bats.
Are guys open? I mean, it seems like most of the guys here are very open to tinkering, but they also, you know, need to be shown why, and the message and the tone matter, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think the one thing that we have to be careful about is these guys are all really good for a reason, and I think sometimes we can tinker too much and you forget about, one, why they're great, and two, competing. And so it's really trying to find that middle ground of giving these guys some cues, giving them some facts, but at the end of the day realizing, like, there's a guy in that box and we got a baseball and it's our job to get him out.
Chris, it almost sounds like a perfect segue to the pitch lab. How much better of a pitcher, how much more accomplished do you think you could have been if you would have had the pitch lab and all that technology during your day?
Well, you know, I joke, like, that Mississippi State education probably wouldn't have gotten me too far in the pitch lab, but I would have listened, that's for sure.
Chris, thanks for the time. We really appreciate it. We look forward to getting to know you a lot better as we move along. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Chris Young, the Cubs' new bullpen coach. 0-0 after 2.
Okay. No score going into the top of the third inning. Prior to the game, we got a true Las Vegas first pitch. Steve Hill, the CEO and president of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, was escorted by some showgirls to throw out the first pitch, and he is now joined with us here during the broadcast. Steve, thanks so much for your time. I know you've been such an integral part of keeping the relationship between the city of Las Vegas and baseball going. Why is that so important for you guys?
Well, for one thing, sports fans are Vegas fans, and this organization has a long history and a long relationship with Las Vegas. We were excited to be the sponsor of this ballpark and help this organization just take another step forward. It was the minor league ballpark of the year. The president of the organization was the executive of the year. We're excited and we're proud of this park.
This ballpark, will you describe what went into designing it? Because even the ball players were saying this is as close as it gets to being in the big leagues in a minor league stadium.
It really is. And, you know, the owners of the team wanted to make this a top-level ballpark. They wanted to make it at the scale and the quality that is Las Vegas, and they committed to doing that, and they pulled it off. It's a great place.
And let's just talk about professional sports overall in the city of Las Vegas, between the Golden Knights, what the Raiders are going to be, and having Big League Weekend here. When you first got to Las Vegas in the 80s, if somebody would have told you this would be reality, what would you have told them?
If they'd have told me this 5 years ago, I wouldn't have believed them. You know, Vegas is not only now the entertainment capital of the world, but we are the sports and entertainment capital of the world. Having the NHL here, having the NFL coming, just solidifies that. We've long been the capital of boxing. UFC's been here, NASCAR's here, the rodeo's here, professional golf's here. All of those things have been here, but now the professional sport leagues are coming, and we're really excited about it. The success that those teams are having exhibits why it's important for those leagues to be here, and we think that's just going to expand.
We drove past what the stadium is going to look like, saw a first-hand view. Have you spent a lot of time over there?
Well, I'm also the chair of the Stadium Authority, so yes, I have. We're proud of that. We are very appreciative of the NFL and the Raiders for the commitment that they've made to Las Vegas. We're excited about having the draft here, so all your fans need to come to the draft in 6 weeks here.
Give us a sneak peek. What's going to be the coolest part about that new stadium?
Well, there is a wall that opens that has a complete view of the Strip, and an eternal torch in honor of Al Davis in the middle of that. It is a spectacular view. It is kind of a breathtaking thing, and I think that will be what people really remember about that stadium.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here. There's so many amazing events that Vegas is home to throughout the year. Do you have a favorite?
Big League Weekend. Absolutely. I'm a baseball fan. I always have been, and love having Big League Weekend here.
The city of Vegas, how would you describe what Chris Bryant means to the people who live here?
Well, you know, he has helped usher in Las Vegas as a baseball town, and he's such a great representative of the city. You know, we have Bryce Harper, we have Joey Gallo, we have Tommy Pham, Amir Garrett here with the Reds, but Chris Bryant is really a face of baseball in Las Vegas, and is such a great one for us. Just a terrific member of the community, as well as a great baseball player.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. Len, Cole, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Taylor and Steve, and we thank everyone for, again, welcoming us with open arms. I feel like this is definitely our spring home away from home here in Las Vegas. And nice play by Alec Mills. 2 outs, runner at first here in the third.
Looks like Millsy was channeling his inner Las Vegas native Greg Maddux when it came to that defensive display right there.
Good call. The new Raiders stadium looks to be pretty spectacular, doesn't it?
Oh, the jewel of the Strip.
Stockis with a man at first. Takes ball 1. Each team with 2 hits.
We touched on it earlier, Len. You know, Moustakas and his versatility and his ability to play so many different positions, but you don't usually see that of a guy who's built like that.
He told the Brewers I'll gladly play second base last year, and that will be his main position with the Reds. But mainly paid to hit. 2 balls, no strikes. Third inning here for Mills. No action in the Cubs bullpen either. He's been efficient. Yes, they have a pool out in right center.
No action in the pool either.
No action right now. That's a strike. Kipnis way out in the right in the second base position. And a high fly ball, well hit to right and caught right at the fence. Noel Cuevas retires Moustakas, and the Reds do not score again midway in the third. Chris Bryant with a leadoff double in the first inning. The pride of Bonanza High School here in Las Vegas. Yeah, he was pretty good in high school. He had .418, 47 career home runs. He slugged .958.
Is that good?
That would be a record. Yeah, if it were at the big league level. And it always makes the trip when the Cubs come here. .6'3" left-hander Josh Smith. Now on for Cincinnati. Yeah, he looks the same, but you can tell he's a little younger there. A nice chat with his dad, Mike, around the batting cage before the game. And we'll hear from Mike Bryant a little later. We'll also hear from Mick Gillespie. He will call the middle 3 today and tomorrow. Swing and a miss. 1-2 strike count on Bryant.
Like we said from those Bonanza High School days, really the only thing that's changed is his beard and his bank account. A few more zeros and decimal points there.
Smith works from the stretch with nobody on. Scoreless on 3 hits for the starter Antone. Mills has gone 3 for the Cubs and has not allowed a run to date.
Glenn, do you think the aggressiveness in the batter's box from both sides, from the Reds and the Cubs side, is it due to them wanting to hurry up and put a wrap on this game, or is it due to the actual venue? I mean, look at it, it's such a big league atmosphere, and these guys, I'm sure they feel like they're playing right at home.
That is foul to left. Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I think part of it might be both teams took batting practice on the field and both were hitting balls 600 feet.
Yeah.
So I think you tend to get a little more aggressive in a park in which you feel like you can hit home runs. And as we know, as you said, Mills has been around the plate all day. Foul tip. Stevenson hangs on, and Bryant is out on strikes.
Check out the variety of luxury premier options that Wrigley Field has to offer for your next function, like the Budweiser patio, located in prime home run territory right down that right field line. So for more details, all you have to do is visit Cubs.com/premier.
Rizzo lined to right his first time up. He hit a bullet. And he takes outside for ball one.
Len, have you ever broadcast from the rooftops across the street?
Have not.
We'll have to look into that this year.
Yeah.
Huh?
Done many bleacher broadcasts. Look out. How about a pregame show from up there?
How about it?
Yeah, we're going to try to get you in the ballpark, out of Gallagher Way. A lot of options.
I'm on board with that.
And we cannot wait to unveil our brand new Marquee Sports Network studio, which will be your home starting opening day. Rizzo didn't act like he got hit, but Nick Lentz is going to send him to first. Look, Anthony wanted to swing the bat.
Just fabric.
Grazed him. So here's Fegley. We should also note that even when the Cubs are not on Marquee Sports Network, so Fox or an ESPN exclusive, you will have post-game coverage from the studio after all those games, which is really great.
Yeah. And like I said, we are waiting to unveil the studio for everybody. And like you've made mention on all the broadcasts, how lovely the studio is. And once it's out there, I think people are really going to be amazed how great the production and everything that we put into it's been.
In tight. And the veteran backstop.
And we've had to stay tight-lipped because there's pictures of it, but they're not allowed to hit the streets until opening day.
Yep. It is spectacular. Way up in the air, out in the right, and Irvin drifting, and he's got it. That's out number 2. That'll leave it up to Ian Happ. Happ will bat from the right side against the lefty Smith. Called strike. So that strikeout rate going in the positive direction. Making a lot more contact. 1-1. Rizzo at first with 2 down here in the third. The pitch outside. Smith last year, big league time with Cleveland and Miami. Reds made a waiver claim in mid-October. Wide again.
You never have too many lefties on your staff, especially ones that throw strikes. It's always a nice little ace in the back pocket there.
Smith went to Wichita State. On a high draft pick, 25th round. Look out, Juan Cabreja, the third base coach this weekend. Staff assistant handling third. Coach, minor league hitting coach Desi Wilson over at first. Rizzo goes on 3-2, and Happ draws the walk.
Quality at bat.
He's seeing the ball well. Now Horner.
I'm sure with him reducing those strikeouts, the free passes, the base on balls, that's going to spike this season, which is always a good thing.
Nico struck out looking in the first. Oh, and 1. Cubs trail 3-1 in the 7th inning in Goodyear, Arizona against the Indians. Kyle Hendricks, at least the stat line looks good. 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 run for the professor. So his ERA right now is 1 in the Cactus League. He gave up a home run to Francisco Lindor.
He's pretty good.
He's really good.
Yeah, he is. Do you have any reports on where Kyle Hendricks' velocity was at today? Was the professor, was he up in the upper 80s, or was he?
You know, he's usually 86, 88.
Okay.
It doesn't typically matter that much how hard he's throwing his fastball. Maybe on occasion he'll hit 90. No hits here in the third, a hit by pitch and a walk. Long pause and the pitch, another foul. Kipnis would bat next. Speaking of Francisco Lindor, he knows a lot about him, former double play partner. Absolutely. In Cleveland. Good battle. Still 2 strikes on the Cubs shortstop. And a drive out into left center. Winker back on it. He can't make the play. Rizzo will score. Happ right behind him. Corner to third. It's a triple. Cubs lead 2-0.
That ball then well struck, and not only did he see the ball, hit the ball, he had an unbelievable at bat. He battled and ultimately resulting in a hit for him.
Yep, that always feels like a mistake for a pitcher when you give up an 0-2 triple. Corner able to hang in there, and he smoked this one out into left center.
I think he was wondering where were a few of those extra miles an hour on the wind gust as they were before the game started.
That will bring up Kipnis. The Cubs strike first on a 2-run triple on Nico Horner. Andino, the third baseman, will play way off the line and in against Kipnis. And the Northbrook native takes a strike.
haven't been around these guys nearly as much as you have so far this spring training, Len, but when I was down in Arizona about a week and a half ago, the one thing I noticed from Jason Kipnis was he had a whole newfound energy. You know, being the Northbrook native with the Cubs jersey on, it seems as if he had just a new zest for the game.
Yeah, this is a big spring for him. Trying to reestablish himself as an everyday player at this level. He's battled some injuries. Batting average has gone down the last few years, but still hit 17 home runs last year. Give you a good at bat. And as you said, I think he's thrilled to be home. Smith struggling to get that third out. That'll go foul to right. It's great to see former long-time Major League pitcher Jerry Royce, Las Vegas broadcaster, 22 years in the big leagues. He stopped by the booth before the game and gave us the lay of the land on this park. Ball really flies to right center.
Give us the lowdown, the skinny, and all the nooks and crannies of this ballpark here.
Called strike 3 on a breaking ball. Fitness not so sure. Nico Horner with a go-ahead 2-run, 2-out, 0-2 triple. Say that 5 times fast. Cubs 2. Reds nothing after 3.
Here to Las Vegas. Cubs now lead 2-0 going into the top of the 4th, and we are joined by Mike Bryant, the father of Chris Bryant. Mike, earlier today we talked with Chris about the fond memories that he has growing up here. When you think about his childhood playing baseball around here, is there a favorite memory that comes to mind?
Well, there's so many, but I'll tell you what, one that just comes to mind right now is I remember when he was 9 years old. We were playing in a tournament up in Utah, and he hit 7 home runs in one tournament as a 9-year-old in 6 games, and that was a pretty fond memory. Right? That's when I knew the kid was going to hit a lot of home runs.
Before you knew that he was going to hit a lot of home runs, was there a time you knew when he was going to have a potential to play baseball at a really high level?
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like a stupid dad, you know, like who thinks their 7-year-old kid is going to make the major leagues. But no, when I really knew it, at one point was probably about when he was a sophomore in high school, and he grew to be 6'4". He grew like 6 inches, 7 inches in 1 year, and it was like a giraffe being born, getting his legs under him and everything. But he started to develop, all the professional skills that you needed to have, and his character and makeup were always there. He's such a good kid, good teammate, good son. I mean, just so at that point I knew we had the makings of a professional baseball player, no doubt.
You knew he was going to play professional baseball, but if somebody would have told you he would experience the kind of success that he has had at the big league level, what would you have thought?
Great question. Again, I don't want to sound stupid here, but I knew my kid was capable of doing amazing things on the baseball field. The fact that he went out, he won all these awards in high school and college, Golden Spikes, minor league player of the year, rookie of the year, and MVP in consecutive years. I'm not surprised that he did it. I'm incredibly proud of that. But no one's done that in history. And I don't know if that's ever going to be done again. So where does he fall on the baseball spectrum now? Okay, and that could be a curse too, because he had such success in his first few years in the big leagues. Now everybody raised that bar so high on him. And so if he goes out and hits 31 home runs a year and bats 285, they think that the sky's falling on him. Believe me, that's his floor now. Okay, his ceiling is off the charts. I hope he reaches his full potential.
What's your advice to him to deal with that type of situation where he's been really high and expectation has to stay that high?
Well, first of all, he knows this too. The only expectations that matter are the ones that he puts on himself. So I don't think anybody is going to raise a bar any higher than he will raise the bar. So he's never going to be satisfied with his performance. no matter what, whether he goes 3 home runs and 2 doubles like he did in Cincinnati, that game, the Chris Bryant game, or he goes 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. He's always going to feel the same after that. I think he keeps an even keel. He doesn't, he doesn't get too down on himself, and he never gets full of himself. So I think it's a good mix. So I think he knows that. That's the best advice I could give him.
You were his hitting coach growing up. A lot of what you learned about hitting was influenced by the great Ted Williams. What do you take from what Ted influenced you that you still teach Chris to this day?
That one's really easy. And all the guys I teach, hit it hard, hit it in the air. There's no hits on the ground anymore. None. You got to hit the ball in the air, whether it's line drives, high drives, even fly balls and pop-ups find their way. Ground balls, not so much. Numbers back it up. So yeah, that's the Ted Williams philosophy right there. And then he puts the science to it. And over time, I've gotten very good at articulating what I value, and I can get 10-year-old kids to understand what that is. Simple. Hit it hard, hit it in the air. Right? And then we go from there.
How has the relationship between father-son, coach and son evolved from the time that Chris was in high school to now where he is in the big leagues?
It's the same. It's only on such a higher level now that for me to stay ahead of him and be able to teach him, I have to keep learning. Now, I don't know, when can I stop learning, Never. That's the way I feel. So when I watch all these guys out there playing, Rizzo, and I talk to all the ball players, I'm always trying to get something from them that I can use and teach. And then, of course, from Chris, too. And we have ways in the way we communicate that we just glean so much from each other. And I'm kind of like a sounding board for him, too. So, he dumps all his negative stuff on me so he doesn't have to deal with it. Probably a little hard for me at times because I want him to do so well. So we're a lot alike, but we're so different, too.
What has he taught you?
Well, he's taught me that he's everything that I wish I could have been, okay? But he's taught me how to be a better dad. That's patience, which is virtuous. Never raise your voice to kids. That doesn't motivate anybody. All it serves to do is destroy their desire to play the game. And that some things are more important in life than baseball, but for the moment that you're playing it, there's nothing more important than it. So, and that's pretty profound right there, but that's it in a nutshell, too.
Chris told us that since he got the news that he was going to be a father, everything has changed for him. What have the conversations between you two, how have they changed since he got the news that he was now going to be a dad and you were going to be a first-time grandfather?
Wow, you ask unbelievably good questions. So how has it changed? Now that he's going to get to experience what I've experienced, he's going to know what it's like. And how when I say I feel everything that you feel, he's going to know that now. So he's going to know the joy. He's going to know the heartache, the disappointments. He's going to know what I felt with him growing up. So I think that's one of the biggest things going to change everything right there.
He told us today also that he's not going to be the one to introduce his son to baseball. It's going to be you. Yeah. Have you thought about what that's going to be like, raising another generation of ball players?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, right, Chris. His kid's going to be young enough to understand that his father is, and he'll be able to watch him playing in the major leagues, and that he's going to see him towards the end of his career after he's accomplished all these things, right, the good things that are ahead. His kid is going to want to be just like him because he wanted to be just like me in a way, and not my personality, but in my projective personality and my outgoingness, he's more reserved and quiet. But he's going to realize that his kid's going to want to be just like him.
The last question I have for you, I know you are at one point a part of a band, and this offseason, Chris had some guitar lessons. So when you two combine and make a band, what's the first song you're going to sing?
Wow, let's see. I'll probably teach him Green Grass and High Tides by the Outlaws. Does anybody know the Outlaws out there? Southern rock band from Tampa. Those guys had 3 flying guitarists in the band. And my band used to do a lot of that Southern rock stuff. So that's the one I want to teach him first. And I hope he gets into it as much as I have. I love music. And You know, I'm all right. I'm a good ham and egger. I can play in a band for 5 years. I like singing and I like working a crowd. And, some of the best years of my life making music. I hope he gets into it.
Mike, thank you so much for your time. I know somebody who really appreciates good music, and that is Len. So, Len, do you know about everyone who he was just talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing, though. Chris is going to be a dad coming up. He's going to have no time to play music.
Between baseball and being a dad, I think you're right. So we're going to have to put that off for years to come.
That's right. Taylor, thank you. Great stuff with Mike Bryant, talking about his pride and joy. And we have Mick Gillespie in the booth with us here on this beautiful Saturday from Las Vegas. Mick and I have worked, what, 7, 8 years calling games on Cubs.com, and a longtime voice of the Cubs AA affiliate, the Tennessee Smokies. Welcome, Mick.
Yeah, thanks. Good to see you. Be up here. I don't know how we follow up that, though. That's an incredible interview right there.
Yeah, really good.
Touched on the Outlaws. You're an Alabama alum. Are you familiar with the Outlaws?
No.
Or Leonard Skinner? That more your
Yeah,
right
I know some Skinner.
Okay.
I know that. But yeah, great to be here, guys. I've known Mike Bryant a long time too, but that was the best interview I've ever heard with him.
It's pretty good.
Van Meter, a fly ball out in the center field. Ian Happ's got it. And there's 2 outs. 2-0 Cubs thanks to Nico Horner's triple.
Yeah, you had Chris along the way. Wasn't at Tennessee for very long. And that's kind of the separator level, right?
Right.
You kind of find out then. And I often get notes from you. This kid's going to be a big leaguer. This kid might not make it, but you knew Chris Bryant was going to be special.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, being here today and just kind of seeing his family. The first thought I had was his first game as a Smoky. It was against the Reds affiliate. Matt Latos was making a rehab that day. Of course, Chris Bryant hit a home run off of him as Kyle Farmer steps in and takes a strike. And then the next time around, well, Chris Bryant got hit by Matt Latos. And it seemed to be awful intentional. And then, you know, after taking one in the back pocket, he stole second, scored on a base hit. And then I talked to him the next day, and, you know, he wasn't worried about it at all. There goes the runner, and the ball is dropped by Fegley. It'll be a stolen base for Aquino.
Mick, you have to have a mental Rolodex of all the different players who have come through Tennessee and the guys that you've seen, and like Len said, the guys that you know are going to make an impact, because there's quite a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them all. At least the ones that have come up through the system, you know, not Anthony Rizzo, but you can tell, at least I could, who is going to excel based on their ability to take over those minor league games. Chris Bryant took over games. Javi Baez, best player I ever saw. Every day. There's a line smash into left field. That's a base hit. Aquino's going to try to score, and he will. And the play back to second late. That's an RBI hit for Farmer, and it's 2-1. But yeah, I mean, when you see guys, you know, like the Javi Baez's or the Chris Bryants, they make the game look simple. They make it look easy. And so I've always kind of taken that. Even looking at the Reds, you know, I know there's a lot of Reds fans that are watching today. I was in Chattanooga when Joey Votto played there, and it was the same thing. You know, just, you know, kind of watching him take over. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change. Mills out. Cubs lead 2-1. We'll be right back on Mark.
New pitcher for the Cubs, 6'6" right-hander Tommy Nance, 28 years old. Product of Santa Clara University. Cubs holding a 2-1 lead here in the 4th inning.
Christian Colon at the plate. Tying run at second. 2 outs here in the 4th. What else did you guys glean from that interview with Mike Bryant?
Or at least for me, the biggest takeaway was, you know, everyone talks about Chris Bryant and how cool, calm, and collected he always is, and how he's just a cerebral kind of player. But if you wonder where that comes from, you just have to listen to his father. I mean, his father seems as if he instilled a lot of that humbleness and that do your job and do it the correct way at a very early age.
I loved how he gave a very simple description of the type of hitter he wants all young players to be. Hit it hard, hit it in the air. Period.
Nance fires a strike to make it 0-2. Well, Mike Bryant's a great guy and really loves the game. I mean, I think that's the thing that stands out to me the most.
I don't think he's going to have any trouble introducing his new grandson to the game of baseball.
I was surprised, and I heard an interview with Chris earlier this week where he said that, you know, he wasn't sure if he wanted his son to play baseball, but that he thought Mike would probably, you know, fix that anyway.
Well, there'll be high expectations and pressure and all that stuff, but he'll find his way.
There's the 1-2 from Nance. Ground ball foul.
One thing I heard from Chris Bryant that was absolutely superb was the fact that he said he feels that that's what he was put on this earth to do. Not to play baseball, not to win World Series or MVP awards, but to be a father. So when you know a guy has a mindset like that going into it, something tells me he's going to be pretty successful, just like he has been in his baseball career.
Yeah, well, he's successful as just a great person. And it sounded like, you know, Mike was kind of reflecting on that part of his personality. Got him looking on the inside corner, and the Reds are done. They score. Cubs still lead them 2-1. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Cubs lead the Reds 2-1, bottom of the fourth inning here in Las Vegas, hometown to Chris Bryant. We had a chance to mic him up today and got a lot of good stuff.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of what I say today for my mic'd up material is that I have a key to the city.
Yeah, they're probably going to use a lot of that.
Yeah. When you think of it, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I don't have a key to a city. I've lived in a lot of cities. None of them would give me a key. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe I've lived in too many cities.
Yeah, too many cities.
Too short of
You just got to be
time.
born and raised there.
Yeah.
And do something cool.
Yeah.
What have you done cool?
I don't know. Lead off 2018 season with a homer.
Yeah. Is that
cool?
Is that key to the city material?
No.
Not bad.
Key to the city material. Yeah.
Well, another Las Vegas native, Amir Garrett, on the mound now for Cincinnati. Bottom of the fourth inning. A lot of good stuff from Chris Bryant. His wife is very due, and he's going to stick around after the Cubs leave. Going to go to the maternity doctor, and good luck to he and his wife. Pride of Bonanza High School. Noel Cuevas at the plate. Nico Horner's triple drove in 2 in the third. Cubs lead by a run.
Mick, I don't know if you know, Len, possibly you know. Has anyone been able to get Ian Happ to smile yet? Because that was the story that was been.
He's only going to smile if he wants to.
Okay.
He's all business.
Gorgeous day out here. Not quite downtown though. A little bit out of the Las Vegas area. I mean, at least where the Strip is.
Yeah, you know all about that today, don't you?
Yeah. Took a very long Uber today.
There you go.
There's a foul ball.
Yeah, so you were heading out to the quote ballpark, and you got taken to a ballpark, but not this one. It's like the Edwin Jackson thing, right? When the A's moved their spring training facility.
I said, do you realize how important it is that I get to the stadium now? Another 0-2 pitch from Garrett. One of Cincinnati's top relievers. Tell you what, this Reds team, you look at them on paper and they're intriguing. You know, they've finished below 500 with the last 5 years, but went out and made some moves. They've had pitching, though. It was the run production that was down last season.
Hey, boy. So the pitching and their defense have really kept them in ball games, I think.
Now we know Nick Castellanos, he's a good one. Mike Moustakas they took from 2 of their biggest competitors, the Cubs and the Brewers. And Pedro Strop, throw him in there. Wade Miley in the starting rotation. 4 big pieces. for a team last year that at times got on a roll, and when they stayed healthy, they were tough to beat. Here's the 1-2. Out of the way.
Fans have taken over this ballpark.
Right side, Castellanos. Shogo Akiyama. So ain't gonna miss. And Cuevas is the first out and the home fourth.
Split squad action. Cubs are tied 3-3 in Goodyear against the Cleveland Indians. Kyle Hendricks pitched well today. They went 4, gave up 2 hits. One of those hits was a Francisco Lindor home run. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He's got a spring ERA of 1 after that outing.
Glenn, how do they decide who makes the trip? Who stays in Arizona? Who makes the trip to Las Vegas?
Well,
is it just the luck of the draw? Or?
I think a lot of the veterans are asked whether they want to go or not. Obviously, KB and Rizzo said they wanted to come.
Sure.
You know, I think in some cases for the staff, David Ross, the manager, is here. It might be, you know, you do it this year, but maybe not next year, that kind of thing.
E.J. Higgins grounds it back to Garrett. And there's 2 down.
Gentlemen, I like to believe that we're like-minded at times, and for me, whenever I look at Amir Garrett, the only visual I have is him fighting the entire Pittsburgh Pirates ball club.
Got
a man on an island.
A lot of energy out there, and sometimes will rub an opponent the wrong way, but as Nick said, there are a lot of people who would love to have him in their bullpen.
Fearless.
Now to bring up Ian Miller with 2 outs and none on in the Cubs' fourth. Miller struck out his first time up. Drafted by the Mariners. 14th round 2013, then traded to the Twins and signed by the Cubs. Bunted through that one. Hey, it was a great effort that he made in the first inning on that ball down the line, and kind of illustrates the energy and speed that he brings to this Cubs roster, and that's something that the Cubs really have missed.
He's a guy who's looking to lock up that 26th spot on the roster, and David Ross said it. He may reserve it for a third catcher. He may reserve it for a guy like Miller, because we know he's as speedy as they come, and you really can't replace a guy that steals bases like that. He's stolen 30 or more bases at every level he's been at.
Really is one thing the Cubs don't have a lot of.
It's almost a lost art form, the art of stealing bases.
Baseball talking about changing the way that pitchers throw to first base, and they're going to do it in the lower minors, where you have to step off and throw, and I guess that's to try to bring base stealing back into the game.
I mean, there's zero deception there. So I mean, you definitely have an advantage if you're a base runner, but I mean, if you're a pitcher, it almost feels as if you're already 1 foot in the hole.
And he struck him out. And the Cubs go in order in the fourth. On to the 5th inning. Cubs 2, Reds 1. It's game 2 of the Vegas trip tomorrow as the Cubs play these Reds once again. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. only on Marquee Sports Network. Having fun here in fabulous Las Vegas. Cubs, where the new pitcher Ryan Tepera comes into the game with a 2-1 lead.
Trying to keep things interesting. You know, the one thing, as I was down in Arizona just about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, is I didn't know a bunch of the guys on the staff because it was still early in the season. But when you looked at some of these relievers, boy, were they big. And that's one thing you really can't teach. You can't teach size. And I know that there's sometimes there's pitchers. You look at Marcus Stroman, he gets it done. He's a little undersized. However, if you're a little bit bigger, it gives you just that slight advantage from the very jump.
Number 0, Alex Blandino at the plate. 0 for 1 with a line out to short. He takes a strike. Who's the most famous 0 that you guys remember?
Benito Santiago.
Al Oliver, right?
I was going to say Willie Mays Hayes.
Oh.
A smash right back to the middle and a base hit.
But Benito Santiago went with double zeros at one point because the catcher's strap was a little bit more comfortable between 2 zeros as opposed to just laying right across the middle of the 0.
Here's Tyler Stevenson. He's 1 for 1 with a double. 2-1. 5th inning. Cubs with the lead. 9th hitter in the Reds lineup. And you can see Stevenson, tall catcher, most of his body in the shadows, but his helmet and head still in that Las Vegas sun.
Yeah, it looks like up the middle center field right now, maybe the bad sun field.
Cubs would love to turn a double play. Smashed foul. It's 1-1. Pair formerly a Toronto Blue Jay. Last year 0-2, had a .498 ERA in 23 games. Pitched 68 games in 2018. Really well. 5-5 record, a .362 earned run average. Nips the inside corner. Going to be interesting to see the way that this bullpen plays out. You go to camp and there's years where there's no battles going on. Right now, second base is a battle. The bullpen, there's a lot of spots. 5th starter spot as well. Maybe some others.
And I feel like a lot of times competition will breed success, because when a guy knows that there's another competent player breathing down his neck, he says to himself, hey, I better go out there and I better produce, because if not, I'm going to be on a bus somewhere real soon.
I know all about the buses. 1-2 misses outside, and that evens things up at 2.
No pressure this weekend, Nick.
I'm wearing number 97 right now on the back of my marquee polo. Just outside to run the count full. So 31 times the Cubs have played here in Vegas. It's as part of this big league weekend, but I'd say this is the most enjoyable because this stadium's so much nicer. Did a really good job putting this place together.
Yeah, they got it right.
And Chris Bryant adds that little extra spice. Here's the payoff pitch. Runner goes. Fouled off.
One of the best part of these yards down here when it comes to spring training is just that outfield grass burn. You know, it gives you that college feel. You know, all the fans, they come out there. It's almost like softball in the SEC, right?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
You go out there and get something cold to drink and have a good time. But here, once you guys take back over, I'm heading over to that pool. Jump in there and do a couple cannonballs.
Get your trunks talking about getting in a pool. I was thinking NCAA tournament.
Well, this is hey, you're in the right spot for that.
That's right.
It's a little bit too windy and just a touch too cold to swim out there today. The wind's 14 miles per hour.
Yeah. You know, kids, they'll swim in any weather. They don't care about if it's cold out. So if there's no kids in the pool, you know it's cold.
Runner goes again, and the ball is floated out to Cuevas and right. No problem with the sun that time as he puts it away.
Pick a home game used or autographed item and help benefit Cubs charities. Cubs Authentics, it's the premier outlet for all MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia. The Cubs, they will donate net proceeds from all the sale of Cubs Authentics items to Cubs charities. Visit Cubs.com/authentics and do it today.
Jesse Winker with a runner at first and 1 out. Cubs with a 2-1 lead. Nico Horner with the triple. Just outside, ball 1. How about Alec Mills today? Solid outing.
He's had a really good spring. Doing everything he can to be part of this club as they head north in a couple weeks.
It looked like he had complete command of his arsenal of pitches. I mean, whether he was painting the corners with the fastball, it seemed like he was pulling the string and keeping guys off balance with his hammer and his change piece, which is always a good thing. If you're David Ross, you have to look, especially as a former catcher, and realize and say, hey, this is a guy who could be a solid presence for us this season.
Yeah, no walks, 3 strikeouts, gave up 4 hits and a run in 3 2/3 innings. But just I had that feeling that he was really in command of things today. 2 balls and no strikes to count to Winker, the leadoff batter. A couple of ground outs for him. The Cubs would love one here. And the runner at first and 1 out.
We talked about Alec Mills and how good he was. I mean, you see out there, he was the pitcher of efficiency. He was getting strikeouts. He had 3 of them on the day. He was pulling the string and also was out there playing a little defense, as we touched on, channeling his inner Greg Maddux, a Las Vegas native, and Mills right there getting it done. You always have to feel good position. It always helps.
Curveball really good today.
And the old Snapdragon. That one's in there for a strike, and it's 3-1.
I don't know if he was out there watching old Greg Maddux footage or if he got that Tommy Mansky defensive drills video in the mail.
Yeah. Hey, we're in Maddux country right here. Grew up in Las Vegas. Got to know Greg when he was a special assistant to the GM, Jim Hendry, years ago. That's a base hit to right. Cuevas stops at second. Winker on. And there's 2 on with 1 out here in the Reds' 5th.
Which was up, belt high. Winker. Bullet in the right. Left-handed bat, Moustakas.
So the Cubs lead is 1, and the Reds now with the tying man at second. Go-ahead man at first. Mike Moustakas. And he takes a strike. I really thought that this was another excellent pickup for Cincinnati. Not only do they help their team out, but they take away from, one of their biggest rivals.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, the versatility of Mike Moustakas. He can play pretty much every single position on the diamond, and not just that, he also has a little bit of pop in that baseball bat.
This time he swings and floats one out of the center field. And splash into the glove of Happ. 2 outs. Well, the Cubs still lead at 2-1 as Phillip Ervin now steps up. 1 for 2 today.
Ervin has done a lot of damage against Cubs pitching in his short career. 329 in 30 games against the Cubs.
Now he's out of options. The Reds have a crowded outfield. Well, it looks like Irvin's going to make the team. There's Titus Aquino, had that really incredible home run streak last year. He was hitting so many of them. Irvin, a big cut, strike 1. But he may be the odd man out. Castellanos, Akiyama, Nick Senzel trying to come back just this week, returned from off-season surgery. He was one of their top picks. Swung so hard his hat fell off. Strike 2.
I mean, he's all over. And that's the thing. When you have a guy like this who's putting up numbers, you see his 417 entering this game. And like you said, he was a bubble guy. But when you're putting up numbers, all you can do is let things fall into place, and maybe everything will take care of itself.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Foul tipped into the glove. Irvin out. And that does it for the Reds. They strand 2 on base. And when we come back, the hometown hero, Chris Bryant, leads off. Cubs ahead 2-1. Moment is brought to you by Prevagen, the #1 pharmacist recommended memory support brand. We take you back to June 27, 2016. Bryant went 5 for 5 versus the Reds. 6 RBIs, 3 home runs, 2 doubles. You heard his dad earlier call it the KB game. He was the first player in MLB history to hit 3 home runs and 2 doubles, and the youngest player in Cubs history to hit 3 home runs in a game, beating Mr. Cub Ernie Banks by 10 games back in 1955. There he is.
That's the thing with Chris Bryant. The expectations for him year in and year out, they're so high because he has been so successful at every single level, whether it's Bonanza High School, San Diego State, in the minors, Rookie of the Year, World Series champion. I mean, this guy does it all.
Through 5 seasons, he's hit more home runs in that Cubby Blue than any other player. Look at that. He and Mr. Cub neck and neck. Maybe takes a strike. He's got a double and a strikeout. Look at that. 138 to 136. Kyle Schwarber in that. And then there's Ron Santo. Not only great players, but all those guys great people. That one's fouled away.
Robert Stevenson, the new pitcher. Jonathan India is in at third. Blandino moves over to first. Josh Van Meter seemed to tweak something during an earlier at bat, so he's out of the game.
Inside corner, and Chris Bryant strikes out looking. 1 down, 2-1. Cubs ahead. Here's the other half of Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo. Well, the fireballing Stevenson on the mound now. Jonathan India, the third baseman, big time prospect out of Florida, drafted by Cincinnati. Rizzo takes high, lined out to right, walked and scored on Nico Horner's 3rd inning triple. And a strike.
Guessing it'll be 3 at bats for the big guys, and then we'll see some replacements here in the middle innings.
Now we're right next to the training facility of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They play their sport in lines. There's a ground ball hit hot right at Moustakas, and he picks it up and throws him out in the shift. 2 outs as Moustakas made the play. Josh Fegley coming up, lined out to right.
The Golden Knights facility
Single.
is just over that left field wall. Quickly grabbed the hearts of sports fans here in Vegas.
Yeah, I was talking to some folks last night about how that happened. The first professional team here, and he said after the shooting, you know, the tragic shooting that took place near Mandalay Bay, the hockey team just rallied to the community. They showed up to visit people that were injured, the first responders, and now tickets to those hockey games are the hottest ticket in Vegas. It's maybe as hot as Elvis Presley tickets were back in the 70s. Maybe not that hot. Pitch in there, and it's 1-1.
Well, I think you're going to get a lot of fan support when in your inaugural season you find yourself in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah,
that's always a good
helps
thing,
too.
especially to drum up some fan support.
And a swing and a miss, strike 2. So they're AAA affiliate in Chicago, right, Lynn? Is that the Chicago Wolves? Are they the?
That's right. Yep.
You guys
They seem to
ever
win.
taken in a Wolves game?
I haven't, but they win a lot.
I have. Yeah, it's great.
Fegley in Oakland A last year. Bounces one towards second base. And they got him. Fielded by the shortstop Farmer. It throws out Fegley. The Cubs go in order. 7 straight Cubs set down. They lead it. Top of the 6th inning here in Las Vegas. Nico Horner with a 2-run triple, and he supplied the Cubs to the lead. It's 2-1. A lot of news around baseball, and if you haven't heard yet, remember last season the Yankees dealt with an historic rash of injuries. Well, they're going to be without the big slugger Aaron Judge. He broke a rib, and after missing all those games last season and hitting all the home runs in 2017, going to be out of action for a while.
Yeah, I know that everyone that's a fan of the New York Yankees, that has to be a thorn in their side, because all the potential that this man displays every time he's on a diamond, I mean, it's limitless. But the only problem is the injury bug, and him being so large. I feel like baseballs just seem to have a way to find him.
As Titus Aquino takes a strike, get things going. He's 0 for 2 today. Did score, though, reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th inning. Rowan Wick, the new pitcher for the Cubs.
Trent Gimbroni at third. Corbin Joseph over at first. So Bryant and Rizzo are done for the afternoon.
And Aquino swings and misses. And it got him. 1 out.
We talked about pitch selection right here. I mean, it's all important to have that touch, that feel, and it appears right now that the touch and the feel, it's certainly there, Nick.
He struggled in the minor leagues, Aquino. They reworked his batting stance, made him more upright, and he's become a big-time slugger. Josh Van Meter, excuse me, that's Jonathan India that slid into that spot. India takes, and it's ball 1. Here's a high deep drive. Right center field, and it's into the pool. Might be over the pool.
I cleared the pool.
We're tied at 2. India, first-round pick, big-time prospect. Showed off his muscles.
He got absolutely all of it. Tie the game. First home run of the spring. Well, just 2 for 16 here in the Cactus League.
Wasn't necessarily a bad pitch by Wick. It just seems as if India, we saw the ball hit the ball. I mean, he put a good piece of hitting on there and stay with it and take it out, not really opposite field, but we saw the power there.
Kyle Farmer with an RBI hit, 1 for 2, takes a strike, and it's 1-1. There's another fly ball to center. Ranging back hat to the track, and he stumbles and misses the ball. Farmer legging for third, and he'll jog in there. And have battling the sun, maybe. And the go-ahead run is at third with 1 out in the 6th. Here's another look at it.
Once he lost his footing, he had a real tough time recovering. There.
That wind is getting a little swirly out there, because if you look at the flags, for 1 minute they'll be blowing to the left, and then they'll be blowing straight out. I mean, it's not easy to play.
Well, I circled around it and then couldn't quite get there.
Infield in now.
Christian Colon 0 for 2. Flied out. Struck out. There's a base hit to left. Reds take the lead. Farmer scores. Colon drives him in. And now it's 3-2 Cincinnati. It's 3 straight hits.
And they've all been hit pretty hard.
This is one where you bring the infield in. It makes the hitters just that much tougher.
He's been working up a bit too much here.
If you're Rowan Wick, you have to be looking for some relief here at some point. I mean, you're hitting your spots, and all these guys are doing is hitting it where the fielders aren't. So at some point, some of these are going to start settling in for Wick.
Reds' first lead today is Alex Blandino, 1 for 2. Takes ball 1. Wick was traded from San Diego to the Cubs for Jason Vossler, third base prospect with some power. Fouled away.
A huge part of this bullpen. I'm going to ask him to get some big outs.
Colon a big lead off of first. Stays put. That ball sprayed the other way and into the corner. Colon can really run. He's coming home. Blandino with a triple. It's 4-2 Reds.
Homer, triple, single, triple. After 1 out here in the 6th inning. They have made him pay throughout the inning. Every pitch that's caught the plate, and they have done damage. Chris Young, the acting pitching coach here. I chatted with Chris earlier heading out to the mound.
And when this ballpark is tailor-made for guys that have speed on the base pass, because we talked earlier about all the nooks and crannies in this field and all the different caroms. I mean, ball that looked like what could have been a base hit at one point easily can turn to a triple in the blink of an eye.
And usually these parks have a pretty fast track. That ball really got out to the wall quickly.
I feel like if you're in that Pacific Coast League and you play out here in the desert, you have to make it big because the ball carries so much.
Well, by making it big, you do create a lot of opportunities for extra base hits.
That's exactly it. Tyler Stevenson doubled in the 3rd, flew out to right in the 5th. Bats with the infield in, hits it in the air to right. Wave is back as the runner sets up and tags and scores. And the Reds with a 4-run 6th inning.
Cubs looking for some good news. And they've got a 7-5 lead. And they bat in the top of the 9th in Goodyear. The Cubs scored all their runs here in that game late. Zach Short with a 7th inning home run.
Mark Payton at the plate, left-handed batter. 4 runs in, no one on base here in the 6th inning with 2 outs. Now the Cubs could lose this one and win that one and split the day. Maybe they come back and win them both. That's why you love split squad action, though, right?
Peyton, a Chicago native, went to St. Rita High School. Moreland Park.
Finds that one foul. Anyone stood out to you so far this spring training?
A lot of guys. I mean, offensively, Trent Gimbroni, who's now in at third, has been really good. Obviously, Almora and Happ at the plate.
How about you, Cole?
Like Len just touched on Almora and Happ. I mean, the battle they have going on in center field. I mean, like we said earlier in the broadcast, you know, competition, it breeds success. And I think with both of these guys playing at a high level, I think it's just going to do nothing but bring success for the 2020 season.
Backhanded by Kipnis. Got him. Inning over. Reds with 4 runs, though, and they take the lead. Bottom of the 6th, we move here in fabulous Las Vegas. 5-2. Reds leading the Cubs, and earlier today we mic'd up local boy Chris Bryant.
I can do whatever I want here.
Exactly right. Just present that key wherever you go.
I should have put the key on a chain and just first at bat, drop it out.
This is my city.
My city. And then strike me out.
No.
No. First pitch homer.
First pitch home.
Okay.
Positivity.
Positivity. Yeah, you good? Yeah. That's why I got the plastics on. I didn't want to hurt you. Did he call me safe?
I think you're out.
Here's Ian Happ to lead things off in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cubs down 5-2 to the Reds after a 4-run top of the 6th. I love the mic'd up segments.
Good stuff with Moustakas at second base.
Yeah.
Cody Reed, the new pitcher, left-hander.
Ian Happ walked and scored on Nico Horner's 3rd inning 2-run triple. Also fouled out. Reed on the mound.
You know, Len and Mick, we talked about that center field battle going on between Albert Almora Jr. and Ian Happ right now, and just the competition. It's just going to see everybody, not just these two guys, it's going to see everyone that plays around them bring their A game to the field every day. I mean, they're driving in runs, they're hitting the ball, and it's the average. The average is there, and that's exactly what you want to see in these dress rehearsals.
I feel like Albert Almora Jr. is the more accomplished defender, and at times one of the best. And then Ian Happ has a switch hitting ability and power from both sides of the plate. That's a strike. It's 1-2. I feel like we watched this battle last spring training too a little bit. There's a smash in the air. That's a gapper. And a stand-up double for Ian Happ.
Continues to hit. One thing we've noticed when the pitches have been up today, they have been handled by just about every batter.
Happ's at second base. The Cubs will try to respond after a 4-run Reds top of the 6th inning. Here's Nico Horner. And a strike. Nico's at bat in the 3rd inning. I mean, it was a triple and it scored 2 runs, but that was a major league at bat. You talk about all the pitches that he fouled off and finally got one he could handle.
0-2 triple.
Do we have an official pitch count on that? How many pitches did he see in that at bat?
He probably saw 6 or 7.
Flat ball to left, and then Happ tags up. Close over 3rd.
We were talking about Ian Miller earlier. We spoke about his ability to steal bases, but when it comes to players on the base paths, it seems as if base running is almost a lost art. Everybody always wants someone to put the ball in the air, but more times than not, I mean, you can score runs and you can keep your team alive in the inning if you are smart on the base paths. We saw that from Ian Happ right there.
You know, Cole, Cubs need to be a lot better running the bases this year than they were last year. And to a man, they all say that. And it's been a big emphasis here in spring training. With much smarter decisions running the bases.
Jason Kipnis 0 for 2. Two balls and no strikes. I think the feeling around camp is that Kipnis is going to be the second baseman. And some great years in Cleveland.
Nick, like we spoke about earlier, Len and I, we talked about Jason Kipnis just with the reinvigoration of his career, being able to come back, being a Northbrook guy, being able to put that Cubs jersey on and say, hey, this is the second act of my career. I'm going to make the best out of it.
That evens it up at 2-2.
Yeah, big key is that he's healthy, and so far so good.
Big time receiver. Played football at Glenbrook North High School. Record setter. Stays alive at 2-2.
It is a sellout, 10,385. A paid crowd for game 1 big league weekend.
Should have picked the attendance, Len.
Yeah, we should have. We used to do that on webcasts.
There's a liner. Base hit. Happ scores. And it's 5-3. So the Cubs cut into Cincinnati's advantage here in the 6th.
What do you notice? Another pitch, it's up.
Didn't do too much with it. Just hit it where it was pitched.
Well, Cuevas had a chance to tie the game with one swing after he took another look at that base hit by Kipnis. 0 for 2. Nice block there by Stevenson.
So Francisco Pena back there. They big time line change. Defensively, Brantley Bell is at first. Alejo Lopez at second. Blake Traha is at short. India at third. Peyton, Friedel, Fairchild left, center, right for the Reds.
Out back. 1-2 the count. Yeah, thanks, Len. Everyone's gone now. This is the fun of spring training, Cole.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out who's on the field.
No one's better at that than
he's
him.
all over.
It's
covered like a blanket.
I got to get a redo on that block in the dirt. We go back and edit it in, you know, like
there you go. Match edit.
Yeah. Guys on the truck are amazing.
Good news, Mick, is it's spring training for all of us too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like I've seen a lot of games. I just haven't talked about a lot of games yet until today. Good to be up here with you guys. 2-2's fouled down. Wave is making Reed work a little bit. Reed. And he's out. I don't know.
It's a spring training call.
Yeah. As I said it just a few minutes ago, spring training for everybody.
Now they get the out at second.
Clearly took him off the bag.
What do you think?
I think replay would have reviewed this one. David Ross probably challenges it in the regular season. And Cole's right. The foot was not on the bag.
Here's P.J. Higgins with a runner at first. And a run in and 2 outs, and he takes a strike. All right, Cole. I asked P.J. Higgins who his favorite character on Magnum P.I. was.
Oh, that's,
who do you think?
He would have to go with Higgins, but I'm sure he would know Higgins as Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. Or maybe the voice of Kit as Knight Rider.
He said, I don't know any characters on Magnum P.I.
Yeah, it's like, what's Magnum P.I.?
Great job, Nick.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
Reds lead 5-3 as we go to the 7th inning and joined by Ian Happ, who all spring long the conversation has been whether or not he can smile. I even heard a fan up there yelling at you. Has it happened yet?
It's become a little bit of a trend, hasn't it? There you go. See? He wants me to. Anthony hasn't gotten me yet, and that's the goal. I've smiled besides Anthony, but it's really about Riz.
I was going to ask you, does this make you smile?
That's an incredible picture. Wow.
Good old days at Mount Lebanon High School.
Yeah, that is a fantastic look.
Okay, let's talk a little bit of baseball now. Let's compare where you were at last spring training to where you are this spring training. What has been the difference for you?
I think the difference has just been competing this spring. I feel comfortable with my swing, my mechanics, and I'm just going out there and competing, and it feels more game-like. Last spring was a lot of mechanical adjustments, and I was trying to do it in the box, which is very difficult. And it was just a real grind for me. So to be able to come out and compete and just get ready for the season, it's been refreshing.
Juan Cabreja told us that he feels like you're the most confident guy stepping into the box out of anyone this spring. Where does that confidence stem from?
I think it just, I got back to it last year. I got back to being really confident, carrying that up to the box with me. I think it's how you have to compete at this level. If you don't, it's over pretty quick. So just for me, bringing confidence into the box, carrying that success from last year over this spring.
What is the relationship between you and Albert Almora been like this spring?
It's great. We're really good friends. We played together for a long time now. So between us, we're just playing baseball, getting ready for the season.
Throughout the offseason, I know you did a lot with the Happ family fund between Wrigley Through My Eyes, First Tee Chicago. Why was that so important for you to invest in that this offseason?
I think the offseason is a time that we just have more time. We have more time to do projects that are important to us, that are really, for me, important to my family. And so to give back to the city of Chicago, to be invested in it, I absolutely love the city. I love what the fans do for us every day. So to give anything that I can back to them and the city, it's important.
What's been the most enjoyable part of the Happ Family Fund for you?
I think for me, it's talking to people that have been affected by mental health, and they have the reaction that someone's talking about it in the city, that someone is really in their corner and fighting for what they believe in. I think that some of that stuff happened at CubsCon, and it was just so incredible to see.
Yeah, and you were selling Wrigley Through Your Eyes, the portraits that are on sale. What has the response been like from the fans on that?
Yeah, I think the response is really cool when they can see it in person. That's the challenge. We have a website, and we just don't do enough sales there because people touch, they see, and the hand drawing, the work that Pat Vale did, it really shows through. So that's our goal, is just to be able to sell as many as we can, because all the profits go straight to helping mental health and wellness charities.
Pat Vale, the artist behind all of the artwork, how often do you talk to him?
Frequently. He's become a really good friend. he's still finishing up the originals. They're not hung yet. So we've been doing a lot of talking with him about potential art galleries, getting it in South Bend Cub Score is going to handle, or is going to carry it this year. So that's just all been really cool, and we've stayed in contact about future projects and what we can continue to do together.
We look forward to see where that goes from here. Thanks, Ian, so much for your time, guys. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Taylor, and 2 outs here. By the way, as we were showing young Ian Happ,
He's got that pose down pat, doesn't he?
He smiled.
Is that a smile or is that a smirk?
Great question.
Do you have to show teeth for it to be categorized as a smile?
Now, you can tweet at us. Is that a smile or a smirk?
Okay.
Watch Marquee can tweet us at Len Casper. Cole, what's your Twitter handle?
At Cole Wright.
At Cole
Plain
Wright.
simple.
There you go. Pretty simple. Yeah, they call like a hybrid curve slider a slurve.
Yeah.
That's like a half smile, half smirk. A smurl.
It could also be a grin.
It could be a grin, yeah.
The jury's out.
Which might not actually be a smile. TJ Friedel with 2 outs, nobody on. Reds lead 5-3. Really have enjoyed Taylor's interviews throughout the spring. He's gotten a lot of great information. She asks great questions too.
Absolutely.
We'll have a lot more of that as we move along into the regular season.
I feel like she's really locked in with all the players. I mean, you guys have been down here in Arizona, you know, for the last month and change. So you really see it. It comes to life when Taylor does all these interviews. She really seems at home down there with these guys.
Casey Sadler trying to work a 1-2-3-7. His 4th appearance this spring. Former Pirate, Ray, and Dodger.
Casey Sadler, one of the nicest guys you want to meet. You know, I was in the same hotel as he was, you know, out there in Mesa. And you know, I got back from, you know, just one of the days that we were out there at spring training, and he was out on the basketball court, and he wasn't practicing his jump shot. He wasn't working on his handles. He was out there with his daughter, with his little girl, and you just saw how much fun he was having away from the ballpark.
That's great. Full count on Friedel. .63, 205. Casey Sadler. That is ball 4.
Hey fans, Marquee Sports Network provides behind-the-scenes access to the Chicago Cubs like never before seen. With Cubs 162, what is it? It's an in-depth look at the 2020 campaign, and it gets underway tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. right here on Marquee Sports Network.
Jonathan India, 5th overall pick in the 18 draft out of the University of Florida. And a tapper foul.
They tend to play a little baseball in that Southeastern Conference. How about it?
They do.
Yeah. Talk about Chris Bryant, Golden Spikes winner. Mike Zunino, University of Florida, also former Golden Spikes winner, catcher.
David Ross played at Florida.
Absolutely.
Auburn. India homered in the 6th. Runner takes off from first, swung on and missed, throw to second late. Friedel steals a bag. Got a big jump.
It's our first movement. could be on the base pass, especially keeping all the infielders. These guys are ones that aren't usually out there. If you can keep them on their heels and keep things a little out of the ordinary, that's what you want to do as the opposition.
2 strikes on India. Score generally doesn't affect the running game in spring training. The other teams are ahead or trailing late. Still try to be pretty aggressive. Low to make it 1-2. We're right back here tomorrow for game 2 in Las Vegas. Vladimir Gutierrez for the Reds. Colin Ray will pitch for the Cubs. Three o'clock Central here on Marquee Sports Network. Let's check out our upcoming schedule, brought to you by First Midwest Bank, helping you build business momentum. Cubs have an off day on Monday. And then we're in Scottsdale against the Giants Tuesday. Night game Wednesday versus the Padres. Dodgers come to Mesa on Thursday, and then we'll head over to Glendale. Face the White Sox on Friday. That is a fair ball. And a run will score. India had quite a day off the bench.
I've seen the ball well today.
Homer and a double, and it's 6-3.
Touched on some of the good at-bats from India today. We saw the home run earlier that went over the pool, and then this at-bat right here down the line. I mean, he's just able to do just what he needs to do with the pitch, like we said earlier. Not doing a whole bunch, just doing exactly what needs to be done and just putting the bat on the ball, and good things happen more times than not. And that's not what Casey Sadler wants to see.
Alejo Lopez. Run in, 2 down, 6-3 Cincinnati. That's wide at first.
We talked about the numbers a little bit earlier in the broadcast. And, when spring training guys have those those high numbers in the 90s and the upper 80s, you also know your chances might not be as great as some other guys on the team if you get a double flapped helmet. If you've got 2 earpieces, you better get after it.
Yeah, those are guys over from minor league camp.
Yeah, especially if you're not a switch hitter.
Yeah, you definitely know, based on the helmet, whether a guy got a big league invite or not. On one hop, and it eats up Asuaje, and it's 7-3. Guessing that'll be an error. It was hit hard. Right at him. Got a little bit of a tricky bounce.
There it is. Surprise, surprise, a hard hit ball that wasn't up in the zone. That one actually a little outer half.
Got another number 34 in a Reds uniform. It's not Mark Payton. Morgan Lofstrom. Canadian born. He's from British Columbia. Major leaguer Willie Harris coaching first for the Reds today.
Look at that.
So they think it's a smile.
Smile, not a smirk. Okay.
Yeah, it's a smile. Come on.
So Taylor definitely has a smile. I feel like when is Taylor not smiling, though?
That's true.
She lights up a room, doesn't she?
That's a very good question. I'm trying to think of something that makes me not smile.
When do you not smile,
Snakes.
Taylor?
I hate snakes. So
I'm with you on that.
that's something that will not ever get a smile from me.
What if you met a friendly snake, Taylor?
I don't think I've ever met
Said
a
no
friendly
one ever.
snake.
Exactly.
Yeah, no friendly snakes.
1-2 on Lofstrom. Swing and a miss. 2 more for the Reds. Stretch time in Las Vegas. A grin or a smile? That's a smile. 7-3 Cincinnati. Hey, we've got some good news from Arizona. Andy Green and the split squad Cubs beat the Cleveland Indians 8-5. They've got one in the bag. And trying to come back here in Las Vegas, trailing 7-3. Right-hander Lucas Sims now on for the Reds. Ian Miller will lead it off.
Well, we touched about the fact that Ian Miller has 30 or more stolen bases at every level he's played at in professional baseball. If as a lefty, you would love to see him at least try to bunt for a base knock once a game if he's in the lineup.
Yeah, that's a big part of his game, especially you get a third baseman back at all. And he takes a strike.
I mean, even now with that devastating speed, with that slight shift on him, if he lays one anywhere close to the line at third base, that's a free hit.
Well, and the 2-strike bunt rarely happens. Jim DeShays loves the idea of a 2-strike bunt in certain situations. You've got a bad matchup, maybe lefty-lefty, and you're probably not going to get a hit anyway. Why not try it? Kyle Schwarber has attempted a few 2-strike bunts. I like that play. That one hit hard and foul.
I feel like the bunt has been shunned in Major League Baseball. It's almost viewed as if, that's not a real hit. But being a serious and accomplished bunter, it's no easy task.
There is a thought among a lot of fans that it's easy to get down bunts, and it is not, especially with all the velocity today and movement. Sharply struck on the ground to the shortstop. Traha will get him. It's 1 out now. Trent Gimbroni. Cubs with that win in Arizona now 6 up, 9 down, and a tie.
Did we get any eyes out there in the pool? Did Mick go out to the pool? Somebody left the booth. He said he was headed that way.
I haven't seen anybody in it yet.
Thought he said he packed some trunks, so we'll see.
It is a heated pool, so
really,
we've got a camera on it. If Mick gets in it, we will see him.
I gotta work.
0-2 to Gimbroni. 12 RBIs in 13 games, but he'll come up empty this time.
And make a note and don't miss your chance to experience spring training in beautiful Sloan Park. Tickets, they're still available right now for games this spring. So to purchase those tickets, just visit Cubs.com.
Some Reds fans made the trek for Big League weekend. The Reds playing here in Vegas for the 4th time. The 18th weekend for the Chicago Cubs here in Vegas.
Now, Len, I saw that the Cubs obviously have the day off on Monday. So are you going to just lounge by the pool and stay here in Las Vegas, or are you going back to Arizona?
I'm head back tomorrow. It's the off day in Arizona. You know, I've done the drive. It's a beautiful drive from Vegas to Phoenix. Go through past the Hoover Dam and through the desert. Have you done the Vegas-LA commute?
I have not. I have not. This is only the 2nd time I've been to Las Vegas in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I know we've got a Twitter question out there. Where we should go tonight, what we should do here in Las Vegas. There's so many possibilities.
What's your go-to meal, Len? What do you go with? Tacos, steak, salad? How about you?
I'm good with all of that.
You're a fit kind of guy. I can see you eating a nice steak salad.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. Now I'm hungry. Thanks, man. Maybe grab a sandwich on the way.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves.
Great setting here in Las Vegas. We're actually in Summerlin at Las Vegas Ballpark. 7-3 Reds lead in the 8th. Our game summary is brought to you by Wintrust, proud legacy partner of the Chicago Cubs and exclusive home of Cubs checking. So while the Cubs do trail in this game, Alec Mills started and went into the 4th, gave up 1 earned run. Nico Horner with a 2-run triple gave the Cubs the lead in the 3rd inning. Jonathan India has a home run, a double, and a couple knocked in. Jason Kipnis with an RBI hit as well. So 8th inning, an intriguing right-hander Tyson Miller will take over on the mound. 6'4", 215. He's 24 years old.
Another one of those big guys down there in the Cubs bullpen that we talked about earlier in the broadcast. I mean, it seems as if every single guy they trot out there is 6'3" or better.
Four seasons in the Cubs organization for Miller. All right, Matt says Batistas. Okay.
The wrestler? He has a restaurant? Dave Batista?
Right behind the Flamingo. Okay. Is there a wrestler named Batista?
Yeah. He's now a movie star. I feel like he gets the roles that The Rock turns down.
Okay.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Right. Brantley Bell at the plate. Numbers on Miller so far. Southern League All-Star last year. Tyson Miller. Swing and a miss. He got him.
Good sequence there. Uh-oh.
Lars.
Recommendations rolling in.
DLT Steakhouse at Bally's. I'm up for a good steak.
All right.
Okay.
You a ribeye or filet guy?
Filet.
Okay.
You?
It just depends. Depends on the mood.
Francisco Pena, ball one.
Now, if it's a Cajun ribeye and there's some seasoning, I like to go with that. But if not, I'll go with the filet.
High fly to left. Well hit. And I believe a home run. Yep. Bill Miller calls it from third base. Pena goes deep. It's 8-3.
It's one of the rare moments where the wind wasn't blowing out, at least to left at this point in time.
He got it up in the air, just enough to get it out. He homered a couple of times in this one. Brennan Davis now playing left for the Cubs. Ian Miller's out. Mark Payton. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cole Wright, Taylor McGregor, Nick Gillespie, Len Casper, Marquee Sports Network crew here in Las Vegas. A big league weekend.
I think it's safe to say Francisco Pena learned that swing from his pops.
Yeah, that's Tony's son. Two and two. Left into right. Taylor McGregor, where are you?
I found my way out to the pool. And I have a friend, Aaron, a Cub fan from Alaska. We're going to step in. Ready? Test it out. Okay. 3, 2. Oh, it's like a hot tub. This is really nice. So how did you get tickets to the pool area?
Oh, my gosh. My uncle actually bought me tickets because I was going to be here for the weekend.
Why did you choose this area?
Oh, well, I ran into some friends that I know from 25 years ago, and they invited me into the area.
How cool is this? Have you ever been to a game with a pool while watching a baseball game? I know that's a thing in Arizona, but have you ever been to one?
No, I have not. This is probably one of the most spectacular things I've ever done in my entire life.
I think we should broadcast from out here. That would be fun, guys.
Maybe we'll be there tomorrow, Taylor. Thank you. That's a double play ball. Enjoy. All red so far. 8-3 is brought to you by First Midwest Bank, helping you build business momentum. You have plans. First Midwest Bank has ideas. Advocate Health. We celebrate making healthy happen. Cubs game day and every day. By Miller Lite. And by Prevagen. Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist recommended memory support brand. The Strip, Las Vegas. Having fun here on Big League Weekend. Their brand new ballpark. Reds lead 8-3. Cubs bat in the 8th. And a former Cub from long ago, Chris Volstad, 33 years old. He struggled as a Cub in 2012, made his big league debut as a then Florida Marlin back in 08. 6'8" right-hander and a foul strike.
12 seasons later, still kicking around.
Johnny Pareda, the catcher at the plate. Base hit to right.
And make a note, because Clark's crew is the official kids club of the Chicago Cubs. Team up with Clark as a member of his crew and receive kid-specific perks, events, experiences, and merchandise. Clark's crew members even receive priority access to Kids Sundays Run the Bases. Visit Cubs.com/kids to sign up for your young Cub today. I feel my daughter's going to be hitting me with a text message and say, Dad, I have to run the bases immediately, if not soon.
Edmund American. How old's your daughter?
8 years old.
Great age.
Took her out to see a little softball action last night. UCLA Bruins ladies in action, taking on Central Florida. Came away with a win.
Back to the mound. Volstead will wheel. Get one. Relay. Safe.
The wheels.
Bank play at first.
Can't teach speed, Lent.
He got down there quickly. You're right. Luis Vasquez. Years old. 14th round pick out of Puerto Rico in 2017. And that'll get in there.
Do we have any updates on JD? How's he doing?
I texted him earlier today. I think he's feeling a little better.
Okay.
But gonna take the weekend to recover. He's not only feeling better, but got that flu bug. You don't want him around the big league clubhouse.
Ginger and turmeric tea, JD. Get you right.
Carlos Asuaje, second baseman. 2 on with 1 out. The pitch. Ball 1.
Sure, Carlos here hoping to forget about that miscue he had out in the field and put a little good wood on the pitch.
Cubs getting prospecty here late in the game. Cole Roederer is on deck. I believe Brennan Davis is in the game too.
So it's getting prospecty, Lynn. I wonder how it goes. If you're a guy with a high number and you have 1 ear flap, and you see a guy with a low number and double ear flaps, do you feel a little better about your situation than he does? How does that go, I wonder?
Three and 0. Now 3-1. Late afternoon here in Vegas. Strike 2.
Well, like I said, if there's kids in the pool, that's usually the measuring stick. And kids, they'll go in any pool. He's ready to roll.
Bases loaded. Hey, there's a baseball game going on over here.
Is he swimming in pants? Is it one of those old school Popeye swim trunks?
Made a late adjustment. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, how you guys doing up there?
Good.
They gave me a towel. It's almost like a fly the W.
Oh, nice.
Keep warm.
I got nervous when you said, how are you doing up there? I thought you were going to like throw us in the pool or something. Roederer, Lions foul.
Going to walk in the booth behind us with a cup full of pool water.
Watch out.
Cole Roederer, the number 6 Cubs prospect, according to Baseball America.
I feel as if I have a vested interest in his success. I don't know what that reason may be, but
he's only 20 and lifts it foul out of play. Cubs are down 5, but they have 3 on with 1 out in the 8th.
Make mention he's only 20. That just had me doing math in my head, and I just realized I'm closer to 60 than I am 20. There's that.
Oh, 2. Volstead home. 1-2. Two singles and a walk here in the 8th. Off of third, India's got room. And he tumbles, but he makes the catch. That's out number 2. Not seen a lot of comfortable defenders on pop-ups and fly balls today, have we?
That win, I mean, living rent-free with these guys.
P.J. Higgins, the only starter for either team, still in the game. DH has gone 0 for 2 with a walk. And takes a wide one.
Mick said he asked him who his favorite character on Magnum P.I. was, hoping that he would give him the answer of Higgins, but I feel like the youngsters don't watch the old school shows like we did.
Well, even if you don't watch the show, you would just say Magnum, right?
Right.
That'd be a pretty good guess.
And then you'd have to ask him who played Magnum P.I.
Right. Bases loaded. 2 down, 8th inning.
It's when we were talking Magnum P.I. I was back in Naperville at my mom and dad's house, and Magnum P.I. was on, and he had an Indiana Jones jacket and hat on. And I said to my mom, I said, this must have been during the height of the Raiders of the Lost Ark fame, because they were really trying to soak that up.
Cross promotion. Higgins in a good spot. Let's see what he gets. A pitch to hit. He missed it. Fastball 92 to fill it up. Go time with 2 outs. And we'll try it again.
Solid piece of hitting right here and make him forget about everything else that came before this at bat.
Brennan Davis is on deck. 3-2 the count on Higgins. Ball 4. He walked him. And a run scores. It's 8-4.
Just goes to show you the importance. All the kids at home watching this ball game, you run out everything. Americani ran that ball out, and he's still alive.
Yeah, great point. Yep, earlier stayed out of the double play. And the scheduled hitter is Brennan Davis. Remember this name, 20-year-old outfielder. Second round pick of the Cubs, high school in Arizona from Chandler. 2 years ago, Cubs minor league player of the year last year.
And for tapping into recency when it comes to Chandler, Arizona natives, NL MVP Cody Bellinger, that's where he's from. He only hit 1 home run his senior year of high school. Hard to believe.
And now one of the best in the game. Tying run at the plate. Way outside.
Looks a bit like Corey Patterson, doesn't it? In the face, at least.
A prospect from long ago. Yep. That is a strike. It's 1-1. Olstead ready. 2-1.
Good news for the Cubs is Olstead can't seem to find that strike zone.
This will be his 27th pitch of the inning coming up. For him to face a guy with a significant amount of big league time. Runners go. Ball 4. Back-to-back bases loaded walks. That'll be it for Volstead. Freddie Benavides will make the call. Bases still loaded. Trent Gimbroni, the RBI man, coming up. Don't go in. New pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds is right-hander Matt Pittich. So he enters the game after consecutive bases loaded walks from Chris Volstead. And the batter is Trent Gimbroni. The tying run is at first. And Gimbroni represents the go-ahead run. 8-5 Cincinnati. And a foul strike. Cubs have taken 3 walks here in the 8th. Lost 2 hits. 2-1.
You know, when early in the broadcast we made mention of the expanded rosters, that the 26-man this season will be something that will be implemented, and you know, there's just a whole different bunch of guys who could be wrangling in that position. Will it be Jim Broney? Will it be Fegley? Will it be Ian Miller? I mean, David Ross says he's open to all takers.
Right near the dugout, and there's going to be room, and Bell makes the catch. So the Cubs have to settle for 2. We go to the 9th from Vegas. It's 8-5 Reds.
I got a key to this city.
Yeah. We need a bullpen.
I keep saying that because I'm mic'd up. I'm sure the people back in Chicago think I'm the cockiest person ever. Nice play. You feel good about that one? You feel good about that? Yeah. It's really good.
Thanks to Chris Bryant for being mic'd up today.
Len, has anyone ever given you the key to the city?
Don't believe I have one.
No, I don't either.
Dakota Mekas now working. And Stuart Fairchild, and outside ball 1. They're usually pretty big, right?
They are. I don't think they fit any actual locks. I think they're just ceremonial, if I'm not mistaken.
One and one. 8-5, the Reds lead.
I want to see someone get an actual lock installed on their home that has a key the size of a key to the city. Imagine how hard that would be to counterfeit.
Missed outside. Mekas really put together 6'7", 275. And here's his 2-1.
I don't mean to sit here and beat a dead horse, Len, but we talked about the fact that these guys out there in the bullpen, they're huge. You know if I have a nice cushiony pair of shoes on, I'm hovering right around 6'4", and like you said, this guy's 6'7", 6'6", 6'5". I mean, the list goes on.
Ball 4, he walked him.
And Cubs fans, are you interested in becoming a premier client with club access at Wrigley Field? Well, all you need to do is visit CubsPremier.com today to join the Premier Client Priority List for your opportunity to purchase season tickets with access to our game-changing new Premier clubs, including the W Club. It's at Wrigley Field, 1060 West Addison.
Now TJ Friedl. With a man on, nobody out. Strike 1.
A little earlier, when you and I were kibitzing, talking about a little movie action, and you said you're a big Blues Brothers fan, big Animal House fan. So you obviously know that 1060 West Addison is the alternate address for Jake and Elwood Blues.
That's correct.
There
yes.
we go. 3 orange wins.
Runner goes. Safe. And it gets into center, but Fairchild will hold at second. He's still out there. 11 life.
In the pool. Carefree. What if we got word that that guy was 32? He's 32 years old out there in the pool having fun.
Kid at heart. That's all that matters. Big inning for the Reds was a 4-run 6th. Grabbed the lead. Now lead 8-5 in the 9th. A lot of aggressive early count swings in the first few innings of this game, but Many more deep counts and walks late. And there's another one. And Chris Young will make a visit.
We had all those different restaurant recommendations rolling in today, Len. So one of the fans on Twitter said, the real question is, while in Vegas, which Ocean's 11 members are we? I think I'd by default have to be Bernie Mac, right? Rest in peace, Bernie Mac, Chicago's own.
That's right. Yeah, I don't have character names, but I know Clooney, right?
Yeah, I would imagine you'd be Clooney. He's running the whole show, right?
Was Brad Pitt in that?
He was.
Okay.
Never wore a belt. All his suits are beltless. Go back and watch that. Yeah.
Okay. One of the Afflecks.
Casey Affleck.
Casey.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to come up with as many people. Don Cheadle. Got like half of them. Here's India, already a homer and a double. Not the guy you'd prefer to face with 2 on and nobody out.
Is Norman Lear in that movie as well? Is he the old guy?
I believe you're right. Breaking ball strike, curved him at 74, 1-1. Back-to-back walks to kick off the 9th. And a base hit to load him up. India, homer, double, single.
It's locked in today.
Just off the end of the bat.
Well, it's going good. It's going good. He's certainly swinging the bat with some authority today, India is.
Here's Lopez. Infield in. The Reds already leading by 3. A good start. Strike 1. Rolled foul past first base. Fifteen hits for the Reds. Meckes has the sign. Now the pitch outside. Alejo Lopez, the batter. Pop up. Nice sliding grab by Trent Jimbroni for the first out, helping out his pitcher.
He seems to be doing it all this spring. Not only is making plays defensively, I mean, he's swinging over 400 at a 429 clip. He's gone yard, has over 10 RBI. He's really trying to make a name for himself and make this ball club.
So that's 1. That brings up the DH Lofstrom. Low for ball one. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Double play depth in the middle. Cornermen can fire home. Around the left in the outfield. Knocked down by Pareda.
Way to keep that ball in front.
Change up. He spiked it.
About 58 feet.
Swing and a miss to even it 2-2.
Yeah. They don't have the bad boy.
Bases loaded, one away. The pitch called strike three. 2 down.
Must be another solid sequence there. When it looked like he was going change up, and then came back with that fastball dead red and caught him sleeping the whole time.
Still not out of it. Bell with 2 outs. Curve strike. Meckes walked Fairchild and then stole second. Friedel walked. Indy is singled. Lopez retired on a nice sliding grab and foul ground by Gimbroni, and then Lofstrom caught looking. Six pitches and counting here in the ninth for Meckes. To third. And he gets out of it. So they had him loaded with no outs and do not score. Bottom 9. Cubs trail the Reds 8-5.
Moments, game show competitions, and much, much more. It's the best of Cubs YouTube tomorrow, 2:30 sharp, right here on Marquee Sports Network.
That'll lead us into Cubs baseball. Game 2 to wrap up this Vegas weekend series. Sellout crowd here at Las Vegas Ballpark. And it will be a save situation for 6'2" right-hander Jose Adames. 7 seasons in the minor leagues, mostly in the Marlins system, last year with the Reds. But he has not pitched above A ball. 27 years old.
7 years, he's ready to make a move.
Joseph, Pareda, and American. And a strike. 8-5 Cincinnati. Yeah, blanket weather here as we get into the late afternoon. A couple of bounces to second. Lopez short throw. 1 away.
You got to
So our first trip to this ballpark, Cole, what do you like the most? What stands out the most about Las Vegas ballpark?
I feel like just the whole left field just facade, just the Las Vegas ballpark, the way it's just displayed out there, with the picturesque mountains behind it. And yeah, I mean, if you're a guy who likes to swing the bat from the right side of the plate, when we saw these guys in batting practice earlier, I mean, they were going for it. And I mean, we didn't see as many balls as we thought were going to fly out of the yard today, but the ball was certainly carrying, and guys were taking advantage of balls that were left up in the zone. How about you? Stands out.
Yeah, I like that. I also like how close the small upper deck is to the field. We're high atop the ballpark, 2 down, but we have a great vantage point.
Sure.
Real intimate setting here. So this is it. Last chance. American will hit. 2 outs, 9th inning.
I think he's got that walkout music planned out.
Is that Lee Greenwood?
I think it was.
Stadium Extra follows the ball game. Stay with us. Ripped into center. Cubs still have life. This is fun here late. These young Cub minor league prospects. Vasquez, the shortstop. Hello.
One of the best parts about spring training when you see these young guys looking to make names for themselves. Everyone always says that, well, these guys are unknowns and no one's heard of this guy before. But unless you're a Golden Spikes winner like a Chris Bryant, don't you always pretty much have to be an unknown except for the advanced scouts? And I mean, when it comes to fandom and just basic baseball knowledge.
Little flare into right. Tying run will come up with 2 outs. It's Carlos Asuaje. That one stung. Vasquez broke his bat. Two quick outs on ground outs, and then singles by American and Vasquez. To left. Bases loaded. 3 straight singles. Cole Roederer now.
Now as we take a closer look, maybe there's a reason why he's been in AAA or in Single A for the last 7 seasons. No disrespect.
A carved piece in the left.
Solid swing.
Ball 1 on Roederer. To first, gobbled up by Bell, and that'll do it. So both teams load the bases in the 9th, but fail to score. And the final Split squad action from Vegas. The Reds 8 and the Cubs 5. So the Cubs win 1 and lose 1 on this Saturday afternoon. As always, when we come to Las Vegas, one of the big headlines is the return of the local hero, Chris Bryant. Very popular guy everywhere we go, but particularly in his hometown. Met the media before batting practice, and he led off the game with a double in the bottom of the first. And he was mic'd up for us this afternoon as well.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of what I say today for my mic'd up material is that I have a key to the city.
Yeah, they're probably going to use a lot of that.
Yeah. When you think of it, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I don't have a key to a city. I've lived in a lot of cities. None of them to give me a key. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe I've lived in too many cities.
Yeah, too many cities.
Too short of
You just got to be
time.
born and raised there.
Yeah.
And do something cool.
Yeah.
What have you done cool?
I don't know. Lead off 2018 season with a homer.
Yeah. Is
That
that
was cool.
is that key to the city material?
No.
Whatever I want here.
Exactly right. Just present that key wherever you go.
I should have put the key on a chain and just first at bat,
Yeah.
drop it out.
This is my city.
My city. And then strike me out.
No.
No.
Never do that. No.
First pitch homer.
First pitch homer.
Okay.
Positivity.
Positivity. Yeah, you good? Yeah. That's why I got the plastics on. I didn't want to hurt you. Did he call me safe?
I think you're out.
I got a key to this city.
Yeah. We need a bullpen.
I keep saying that because I'm mic'd up. I'm sure the people back in Chicago think I'm the cockiest person ever. Nice play. You feel good about that one? You feel good about that? Yeah. It's really good.
Chris Bryant, a great guy to have mic'd up. Love that little exchange with Moustakas at second base.
Absolutely. You never ask the opponent if you're safe or if you're out, because more times than not, they're going to give you the wrong answer.
Exactly. Cole, enjoyed it very much. Let's do it again tomorrow. What do you say?
Sounds like a good idea. I'll be here. How about you?
I will be here. Cubs beat the Indians in Arizona 8-5, but they dropped an 8-5 decision here in Las Vegas to the Reds. So for Cole, for Mick, for Taylor, and our entire crew, I'm Len Casper, thanking you for watching Chicago Cubs baseball on Marquee Sports Network. We're back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Cubs and the Reds once again from Las Vegas. Up next, Stadium Extra.
Yeah.